These are the top 10 questions you must be asking when it comes to buying your first home. Stay tuned. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another home buying 101 video just for you guys. If you guys don't know, my name is Devonte Davis. I'm a realtor, and more importantly than that, I love being of service to people and I love giving value. So this is what this channel is all about, giving value inside your home buying or your home journey to buying a house. Anything that you guys need will be covered on this channel. If you guys want any specific topics covered, make sure you drop them in the comment box below. Today we're going to be discussing the top questions you must ask. In order to gain any wisdom in this home buying journey, you must ask some questions, and I'm going to give you guys a solid list and cover them in detail of the questions that you guys need to ask as you guys begin to look. What are my total costs when it comes to buying a house? Most people want to buy a house. Most people have money saved up, believe it or not. They think it's this high drastic number, and it's not always the case. The average person puts down around 6% of the purchase price or 6% down payment on a specific house. So you guys don't need crazy amounts of money. You do need a little bit, but you don't need 50, 40 grand unless you're buying a $500,000 to a $400,000 house. But another reason why you really want to know that is because you want to know your budget. I always talk about budget, and the reason why that is, you don't want to be in 5 years selling a house because you can't afford it. You want to be able to pass that house down to your children so they will never ever have to worry about housing as long as they take care of the house. That's true wealth right there. That's generational wealth, and that's the wealth that we all want to strive to get to. This really breaks down into really two categories. You have your purchase price, so what you're going to pay for the house, and then you have your second, which is that we just discussed, your closing costs. So your appraisal fees, your home inspection fees, your attorney fees, your actual closing minimum that you need to put down depending on what type of loan you get, which is your FHA loan or a conventional loan, which is 5%. Homeowner's insurance, and then you have your mortgage insurance as well. These are just examples of a few of the things that you will tend to face when it comes to your down payment / closing costs when it goes to buying your home. Now, a few of these can be negotiated or shopped around for a different company to use, so it can either lessen or heighten your expenses depending on what type of things that you guys want to use when it comes to your closing process. More than likely, you'll be trying to get a little bit lower payment or a little bit lower closing costs. So make sure you guys start to really shop around when it comes to a few of these things like your inspections, your appraisals, your attorneys, and stuff like that. If you guys didn't already know or already watch it, I have a video about to locate up here, and I'll also drop it in the description below as to the total cost that you guys will potentially face when it comes to buying your house. So when it comes to purchasing your house, you want to know the plans that you guys have for it. What are your plans in the future? Are you going to relocate to Texas in 2 years? Are you going to go across the country and go to California in a few years? You want to know the plans that you guys have. Or if you're going to move in there halfway throughout, you're thinking about relocating, you might get married or something like that, moving with your spouse, keep it and just collect the rent. Now you're a landlord, now you're an investor, now you have cash flow coming in every single month. So you want to start to really think about these different things when it comes to your house and what your plans are and your true plans are later on down the line. Now, I know we can't predict life, you can't predict the future, but just having a general thought or idea, so when things do tend to pop up, you know exactly what you can do, you know exactly how you need to move, and the best situation that helps you out in the long run. What's included in the sale? A lot of the times when we go to buy a house, sellers will leave a few things. The number one thing we want to know is, what are they leaving? So if they're leaving any furniture, appliances, or anything of that sort, we want to make sure we know exactly what they are so we can budget for that and we know exactly what we have coming into the house. Number one, we want to make sure that we get those things in writing. Your realtor should be writing every single thing that your seller or the person who's selling you the house that they're leaving put that in the contract so there are no discrepancies when it comes to closing date, and that brand new fridge that they promised will be inside that kitchen is not there. You want to make sure those things are there so you can have no issues when it comes to the close of your house. As you guys are really going around shopping for different houses, you'll start to notice a little trend between houses. Some may sit for a very, very long time. Some may jump off the market and quick in the first week or two. If this house has been on the market for less than 21 days, chances are you may or may not want to go at a low ball price. And that's because it's still fresh. It hasn't been a month yet. They're still doing some marketing. It just got on the market. So you really have a little time before you really start to low ball houses that's fresh on the market under 21 days. Now, if the house has been chilling on the market for about 90 days or 3 months or so, now you can really start to negotiate heavy on that price because it's obviously something wrong with the house, or the layout is just so funky that nobody really wants it. So you really got to pick and choose. If the house is sitting on the market for 21 days and this hot market, that means something could potentially be wrong with the house, or now you may have a chance to negotiate on that price. It really just depends on your market, and this is where realtors come in at a huge advantage to yourself, because they'll be able to tell you exactly why this house is sitting on the market, or if there's any backstory to the house. Chances are, I always give this general rule of thumb: if the house is sitting, either something wrong with the house, or that seller is really holding out for a specific number that obviously right now they won't get, and it'll take them a little time to come down. Speaking of sellers, the one thing you want to ask the seller is, why are they moving? Mr. Seller, why are you moving? Is there a specific reason? Is it ghosts in this house? Is it paranormal activity where everybody's starting to go crazy? Are the neighbors bad? Are you relocating? Are you downsizing? This is one of those questions that you really want to ask the seller, and really want to ask your realtor to ask the seller, if possible, why are they moving? Because that will give you a great indication as to the things wrong with the house and the neighborhoods. And we'll definitely talk about neighborhoods later on in this video. That's one of those great questions that you always want to ask. Keep that in the back of your mind, especially at an open house, and that seller just has to be there. Legally, the sellers definitely have to disclose everything that's wrong inside the house. But you know, some sellers really don't want to release that information, or they want to try to be funny and withhold that. It doesn't matter. This is why we get home inspections, because anything wrong with that house will always show up in that home inspection report. As you guys look into these different As you guys really start to look into these different neighborhoods, make sure you start to see what other homes are selling around in that area. You do not want to be the highest priced house on your block. You want to be able to let that thing grow and get some actual equity inside your home. If everything else is selling at $300,000 around you, and you buy at $500,000 or $400,000, something ain't right. Yes, I'm being dramatic, guys, but you do not want to be the highest purchase price on your block. If you can stay in the middle somewhere, that means you have wiggle room to come up. If you can buy even on the lower end and then you have the money to fix it up, now you're talking about building more and more equity inside your house. Also, you want to look for resale. If you're buying at the highest price, chances are you won't cash out as high as you guys think you will. Now, some people have views differently when it comes to resale value, and if it's a house is an investment or not an investment. Chances are, depending on how long you guys are staying in your house will always be an investment for you, because 10, 12 years down the line, hopefully your neighborhood is coming up higher than what is. Hopefully your neighborhood is coming up and your house is appreciating higher than it is right now, and that will allow you to cash out on a few $1,000s as long as you're paying down your principal faster and faster and faster if you guys can. That's how I always recommend 15-year mortgages compared to 30 years, because it allows you to pay things off quicker, and if you give that one extra payment, you may even be able to knock off a few years on top of that 15-year mortgage. Gas, electric, water, utilities, you cannot, especially Wi-Fi these days, you cannot get around these. So make sure you guys know the utilities and ask that person, what are the utilities in the house right now? Generally, you can go with a good rule of thumb based on average utilities around the area, but the house may have either lesser energy efficient or more energy efficient appliances and windows inside that house, which are either lower or higher your bill when it comes to your utility costs. You can't get around these, but you want to make sure you definitely budget for these, especially if you guys are in a colder climate or a warmer climate, playing with your AC and in your heat. And the last couple of joints we really got here is, what is the roof? How old is the roof? How old is the hot water tank and furnace? You guys have to ask these questions. Make sure you guys are asking these questions as you popping through it in and out. Just, hey, real quick, what's the roof age? Oh, it was done last year or the last couple of years. You want to make sure that you guys ask that question, because slapping on a $10,000, $20,000 roof is not fun for anybody. And you don't want to have to use that credit against your house just to put a new roof on. Hot water tank and furnaces, they're not very expensive compared to the rest of the house, but they still do run a little pretty penny. So instead of coming in there exchanging all the furnaces, unless again you want better energy efficient for your utilities, make sure that you guys are asking these questions so you're not off the rip spending $1,500 to $3,000 trying to fix one of these two major appliances. And like I discussed earlier, your neighborhood. Make sure you know what neighborhood you're moving into. Ask that seller, how are my neighbors? What is the neighborhood like at night, during the day, and on the weekends? You don't want to get in there, you a quiet person thinking you're on a quiet street because you've seen it during the day, and at night it get real nice and rowdy. You won't be upset. So make sure you guys are knowing which neighborhood you are living in. And number two on that is make sure your location is desirable. You do not want to buy a house in a neighborhood that's not desirable. Again, during resale later on, you want to make sure that you guys are piling inside of communities that are up and coming or always on the incline and on the increase. People are always looking to move inside those areas if you guys can get inside those exclusive areas, especially those up and coming ones. Maybe you guys pop into an area, you see all the construction, you see some things building around it. Those are areas you guys want to be in, because 10, 12 years, 5 years later on down the line, a lot of people are going to now want to move into that area, and that will allow you to sell quicker, easier, and for more money later on. Those are pretty much the top 10 things that you guys really want to start to ask. If you guys have any questions, make sure you rewind the video, go check it out again, or just drop it in the comment box. I would love to help you guys out in any way I possibly can. I'm here to be of service. This is why I give the free game for all these videos. So make sure you reach out to me, hit your boy on Instagram, make sure you hit that follow button, subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you guys get all the new content as soon as I push it out. I'll see you in the next one.